So we know there's an ongoing investigation, and we have these leaks hanging out there, and here we are, sitting here with our thumb up our nose. And to leave a clear trail of intelligence to government investigators. Why would you need to leave, if you're a White House official, a clear trail of intelligence to government investigators, quote unquote, when the government investigators are the one who are supposed to be getting the intelligence information in the first place?
Crazy.
So we learned zero about this. Nothing. Nothing. New York Times, February 14, as I work my way back. Phone records and intercepted calls show that members of Donald J. Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and other Trump associates had repeated contacts with senior Russian intelligence officials in the year before the election, according to 4 current and former American officials. Well, Mr. NSA Director and Mr. FBI Director, what do you know about this? I'm sorry, I can't comment. What do you mean you can't comment? It's been leaked to the New York Times. You told us there's an ongoing investigation. Comment.
Hello.
American law enforcement and intelligence agencies intercepted the communications around the same time they were discovering evidence that Russia was trying to disrupt the presidential election by hacking into the DNC, 3 of the officials said. The intelligence agencies then sought to learn whether the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians on the hacking or other efforts to influence the election. The officials interviewed in recent weeks said that so far they had seen no evidence of such cooperation. And yet it's leaked. No evidence of such cooperation. And now there's an ongoing investigation. If there's no evidence of such cooperation, why is there an ongoing investigation? It goes on later in the New York Times piece. The call logs and intercepted communications are part of a larger trove of information that the FBI is sifting through as it investigates the links between Trump associates and the Russian government, as well as the hacking of the DNC, according to federal law enforcement officials. And the FBI director gets away with saying nothing about this? Not a word? When it's his management that's the issue? Or whomever they shared the information with? I'm not going to answer that. It might interfere with our investigation. Hey, let me tell you something, pal. There's been a lot of leaks that have already...
You can say that anytime.
Incredible. And they're off the hook. Well, you know, that Trump, he's just... No, let's go on. As we work our way back. The New York Times, January 19th. And by the way, I reject the administration's position with respect to Russia, or at least its stated position earlier. I'm not a code pink Republican. I think we should muscle up NATO. I think Russia's the enemy. I don't think there's any question about it. But that's beside the point. January 19, New York Times. American law enforcement and intelligence agencies. So there we have the head of the NSA, the head of the FBI. One reveals that there's an ongoing investigation, and pretty much beyond that, I'm not answering any questions. Now, there are a couple things they said that I want to point to, but pretty much I'm not going to answer any questions. That's what he said. American law enforcement and intelligence agencies, January 19, New York Times, are examining intercepted communications and financial transactions. Part of a broad investigation into possible links between Russian officials and associates of President-elect Donald Trump. Now, we can assume which individuals they're talking about. They've been leaked to the paper. The Democrats came with them. They were pounding away, so forth and so on. You and I have no idea about the truth or veracity of any of this. None of it. But it's all put out to create an impression. The FBI is leading the investigation. Excuse me. Aided by the NSA, CIA, and so forth. So the FBI is leading the investigations, plural, aided by the NSA, right? Now, truthfully, this is January 19th. If we had read this sentence more carefully, on January 19, January 20. We would have known there's an ongoing FBI investigation. It says the FBI is leading the investigations. Multiple investigations. And present tense. Not past tense. The FBI is leading the investigations, aided by the NSA, the CIA, and Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Unit. The investigators have accelerated their efforts in recent weeks, but have found no conclusive evidence of wrongdoing, the officials said. One official said intelligence reports based on some of the wiretap communications have been provided to the White House. The White House. The White House keeps popping up in these little New York Times stories. And precious little was directed at the Obama White House. Why is that? Why is that? Because of Donald Trump's tweet? Now we can't dig further into what staffers knew what, when, how, and when? What kind of investigation is this? I'm sure CNN is going to dig into this. I'm sure Jake Tapper and Brian Stetler and Dylan Byers, I'm sure they're all very interested in knowing, going back and looking here, trying to piece it together. Boy, White House officials provided to the White House. One official said intelligence reports based on some of the wiretap communications have been provided to the White House. January 19th, New York Times. Not me. That's the New York Times. Not me. Or this one. March 1, New York Times. In the Obama administration's last day, some White House officials scrambled to spread information about Russian efforts to undermine the presidential election, and among the reasons, to leave a clear trail of intelligence to government investigators. White House officials. Isn't it interesting? It's about any of this. Not a word of it. This guy, Adam Schiff, who is a propagandist and a hack, gives the most outrageous speech and at the end says we have to demonstrate we can be bipartisan and get to the bottom of this. And that led the whole thing. This guy Castro, I think his name is, from San Antonio, a Democrat, he's such a kook. He even said maybe this White House is leaking because sometimes people will do that sort of thing. So the White House is leaking on itself? Of course, they're not conspiracy nuts, ladies and gentlemen. They're good liberal Democrats. I'll be right back.